We gotta jump back on the RX-7 right now. I am doing arguably what I think is the worst part of this build, and that is stripping off all of the old undercoating. I've actually been doing this for a couple of days. I just haven't been filming it all that much because I've been doing it whenever I just get some extra time coming over here and knocking it out. But I've got a lot of the undercoating off the bottom of the car done. I still gotta do all the wheel wells, but it's just so tiring holding up this grinder, getting everything off. But we're getting through it. Once we get all this off, we can epoxy prime the bottom of the car, undercoat it, and be done with this is just the worst part in my opinion. For the most part, the bottom of the car is almost done. I've got a little bit more left to do on this side, but holding up this grinder is just killing my arms. So I think I'm gonna bring this thing back down a little bit and start up on the wheel wells because we still gotta do the front and the rear wheel wells. But I'm glad we're doing this because I am finding little pockets of rust behind seam sealer, undercoating, and things like that. So we're gonna get all of that fixed before we epoxy prime all of this and get it back to 100%. Like I said, the chassis, it's not rusty, but it is starting to rust. So if we can prevent that now and fix that, that is going to significantly save this chassis in the long term to keep it from rusting out. Once you have rust starting to form, really the only way you're gonna save it is by going through and removing all the rust and re-epoxying it and re-protecting the car. So that's the big thing of what we're doing right now. So we're gonna be jumping up here in the wheel wells. There is some rust forming in here. I did hit it with some rust reformer the other day. So we're gonna go through, start removing all this rust, removing all this old undercoating, so that way we can re-undercoat this entire fender well here. So let me get to town, man. This takes so much time. We have made it to the next day and I am obliterated from doing wheel wells and everything. I've got the two front wheel wells done at this point. This one needs a little bit more work right around these brackets, but at this point it should, after being cleaned up and a couple other small things in here, it should be good to hit it with some epoxy primer, and then this side should be done. We still have the entire engine bay to do, but at least this wheel well is done also. So, you know, we're making progress. I just have the two rear wheel wells left. This stuff just takes so long to do. In my opinion, this is arguably the worst part about restoring a car, is going through and taking everything off the old body that doesn't need to be there anymore. Rust, undercoating, sound deadening, etc. Which, speaking of sound deadening, that's what we're gonna jump on right now. So I'm looking at this interior and I don't think I bought enough dry ice. So I went over to the store, bought some dry ice, and dry ice seems to work the best. So what we're gonna do is break up the dry ice. We're gonna spread it around along the sound deadening and we're gonna hit it with a hammer. And it should shatter into little pieces. And I'm gonna try to get as far as I can, but we have sound deadening here, 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 back seat, front seat, front seat, front seat, front seat, tunnel, tunnel, firewall. So there is definitely a lot of sound deadening in this car. First dry ice specimen. Look at that. So. Yeah, like, oh, there it is. Oh. Okay, that's what I'm talking about right there. So, maybe we just use this scraper guide instead of a hammer. Look at that. There it is, getting it to let go. It doesn't always want to, it seems like. that. Look how nicely that piece came off. I guess the real secret to the dry ice is really just let it sit for a good amount of time. I don't know how I'm gonna get the transmission tunnel. I have no idea how I'm gonna be able to dry ice that. Same with these rear quarters back here. I don't know how I'm gonna be able to dry ice these either on both sides. But I mean, we'll figure it out. We'll get it off. But for the most part, we have driver's side done, passenger side done, driver's, oh God, I gotta touch it. Woo, woo. Driver's back seat done. Passenger front seat, we're doing passenger back seat now. Trunk and the hatch is all done. All that came out super easy and like big pieces too, which is nice. So let's do the back seat, then we'll figure out how the trans tunnel. I have one more thing of dry ice, so we'll see. So far, that's like maybe 12 pounds that I used to be able to get all of that, which really isn't too bad. Look at that. We've almost got all the sound deadening out. I have a massive pile of it right here. The dry ice seems to be working pretty well. I am gonna leave the firewall up there because I just don't have a solid way to get it. So we'll just rip off all the carpet that's still attached to it, paint over all that, and I think it'll be fine. Back here, I'm gonna try to get these, but I don't know if I can actually get them. I'm using the dry ice in a bag right now to try to chill everything, and it's kind of working. So this is kind of my test side right now. It is leaving some residue behind, so I'm gonna have to go through there with a wire wheel and clean that up, but that's not a big deal. What I want to focus on now while the dry ice is chilling on some of the other spots is knocking out any rust that we have going around the Actually, before we do that, I think I want to knock this out. So this is where the antenna for the car used to be, and I think I'm going to go through here and just weld this up real quick. I'm just going to grab my MIG welder, we'll grind it down smooth. We can throw some glazing putty on there also, but I just want to get the hole filled because we're not going to be using an antenna on the car. Obviously it's gone. I want the body to be nice and smooth, so let's actually get that filled real quick. I hate to interrupt all the fun of removing sound deadening and undercoating and all that fun stuff on the RX-7, but we got to talk about today's video partner, our guys over at Factor. You guys know we've been working with Factor for, I want to say, about a year now, and it's honestly one of my favorite partners we've had the opportunity to be able to work with. You see, Factor is a great meal delivery service that tailors your needs to your schedule. So that means no more trips to the grocery store, no more going out getting fast food, no more going and doing all of that crazy stuff that you used to do before that ate up into your busy schedule. Because if you're like me, you got cars to build, you got stuff to do, and you don't have a lot of free time. And also tailor the meals to our diet. So if you're vegan, pescatarian, vegetarian, whatever it may be, you can set up those meal plans to work in your favor. So quit stressing about those grocery trips and all that other crazy stuff you got going on and make life easy. Cars stress us out enough, okay? We don't need all the other random life stuff to stress us out. One other benefit of Factor to me is I can, as you guys see, I can easily bring these to the shop with me. So that way when I got a little bit of time when I'm waiting at the shop, I can easily make dinner. They're super easy to make. Pull them out of the packaging, poke some holes on the top of them, pop them in the microwave for 2 minutes, let them stand for 2 minutes, kind of like how we're doing right now, and then you're good to eat them. It's also nice because there's no mess. You don't have to eat them in these trays. You can definitely put them on a plate if you want to, but if you're like me and you're at like work, you don't really have access to silverware. So it makes it super easy, mess-free to just pop these guys in the microwave, pull them out, and get to town eating. Today we got a spicy poblano beef bowl, which is honestly one of my favorite ones. I like the spicier ones. They give a little bit of extra kick in your butt. So if Factor is something that you're looking to try, down below in the description there's a link, or you can head over to www.factor75.com and use our discount code Smeedia50 to get 50% off your first box and 20% off your second box while your subscription is still active. So happy eating, my friends. Grab yourself some Factor. We're gonna get back to work on the RX-7. We're gonna turn this thing into a SEMA car, but for now, I'm gonna eat my dinner. We're pretty good. They're actually really good. So the way we're gonna fill that hole is with one of these little Eastwood metal plug kits. They work pretty well. They come with these little plugs that you can use. They come up with the hole saw, so that way, it's not really a hole saw, it's a step bit, but use the step bit, you drill out the hole to the appropriate size of the plug. And then once it's drilled up, you use a body stitch magnet on the plug, you get it set in there, you can tack weld it around it up, and then we'll get it all nice and smoothed out, but we gotta obviously remove paint around this first, just so that way we can actually get it to weld properly. So let's get this area cleaned up. Actually, let's get the hole drilled out. We'll get the area cleaned up. We'll get this welded. We are gonna have to be very careful. This is pretty thin sheet metal, and I'm gonna be using the MIG welder, but we are gonna put a little bit of glazing putty on it afterwards, just to smooth it all out. I just wanna focus on bodywork stuff and doing all the little stuff now, so that way I can just focus on getting the body ready for paint is kind of what I wanna do. I am pretty happy with that. I actually used my guide coat for this, and this is smooth as can be. Oh! What was that? Well, that was weird. It just got smoother. That was so weird. Anyways, we have our antenna filled. We have a plug welded in there. I will put some cavity wax on the backside or paint it. Haven't decided yet. I still have access to where that plug went on the other side of that. None of the bodywork's gonna look pretty up until we go to primer this and paint it. Obviously, it's all gonna look multicolored as I fix the body. Dude, that came out nice, man. I'm pleased with that. I am very happy with that. So no more hole for the antenna, welded, nice and smooth, glazing putty, good to go. I brought a professional glass remover over and she's sitting over there in the corner. So we are going to attempt to pull the glass out of here because I need to start prepping the interior because we're gonna paint the interior. I'm going to paint the interior. I'm going to paint the engine bay. I'm having somebody help me paint the exterior of the car. So I found a professional painter guy. You guys will meet him later on, who's gonna help me do the exterior of the car and make it look all nice. But with the interior, I feel like I can do the interior and the door jambs and the engine bay since it's not really gonna be crazy scene, and it'll give me an opportunity to learn to paint a little bit. So I hopped on Amazon not too long ago and I bought one of these Billy Tools glass removal kit. So I don't know. Melanie is the expert here on glass removal. So if you guys have any questions on glass removal, ask Melanie. She's been doing it for 40 years.
Yep, longer than I've been alive.
Yep.
I've been removing windshields.
I'm so impressed.
Oh, it's smoking. Is it supposed to smoke?
Absolutely not.
Okay, I got in. I got through. I don't know if I like that sound.
Oh yeah, there we go.
I don't know if I like the sound that this is making. Just heat it as I'm going.
Oh, you want me to do it?
Yeah, just keep heating.
Put it on low heat. Obviously the wire's coming too. You don't want to snap the wire.
Oh wow, look at me. Ah! No!
Whoop.
Oh, you broke the glass.
Sorry.
We gotta get it out anyways. So at this point, be as rough as you want.
Hey, in my defense, the guy did say that most people break the glass when they're doing this.
Melanie's 40 years of auto glass experience have worked.
Oh yeah.
We learned a lot. As you guys can see, the windshield may or may not have sustained a little bit of damage. That's all right. I've already looked. These windshields are only $380. So I'm not stressing the windshield too much. The little wire kit crap stuff, that was awful. I'm gonna be honest. I ended up using I don't even know where it's at, a multi-tool with a multi-tool with a spatula on there.
And before anybody can say that that's what broke this, we broke this with the tools that were provided for removing it first.
Yeah, the windshield broke with the windshield removal kit tools. Once I swapped over to the Dremel, it didn't really crack until I got to the bottom, but that was my own fault. First time pulling a window, it's gonna happen. So let us make this disappear real quick. We're gonna make that windshield disappear. So at this point, this has sucked. This has been a lot of days of stripping this car down even farther. But at this point, the chassis is stripped. Undercoating is removed, windshield's out. Like I said, I still have the rear hatch on because that glass is very expensive. I'm not even gonna try to pull that. I'm not even gonna take the hatch off up until we absolutely have to, just because I don't wanna risk breaking that rear glass. Sound deadening is removed. At this point, we are now on to phase rust repair and paint preparation. So all we got to do at this point is go around the car, start cleaning off rust, start hitting it with some rust reformer, getting it good. Luckily, there are no holes in the car for rust. It's mainly just some surfaced rust going around the car, so it shouldn't be too bad. We have our paint appointment at the end of this month. So the RX-7 is going to be painted Alpine white. I think I mentioned that earlier. It's a BMW color. I think it's going to look really good in Alpine white. I'm going to continue to, actually I don't even think I have any, I have 2 more holes to weld up on the body, but those are on the hatch. There's like a plug right here and another one down there for the rear wiper, and since that's been deleted before I even got the car, the proper way to do this is to weld up those holes like we did on the fender, smooth them out so that way it's just a smooth panel and we don't have any holes or gaps in there. So we'll use those little panel plugs that I have, weld it up, seal it up, make it all look pretty and Gucci, and when it goes to paint it's gonna be just Magnifico? What is the word I'm looking for? Magnifico? It's gonna be great. It's gonna be perfect. So that's all I got for you guys on this one. I'm sorry it's not like a crazy exciting video, but before we get to the fun, exciting, crazy stuff of getting this thing actually transformed into the car it's going to be, we gotta do all the hard work now for preparation of removing everything. We can start undercoating the car hopefully this weekend. So that way we can start putting things back in. We can start refreshing our transmission, getting the transmission back in, the rear differential back in, the PPF brace, subframes. My subframes right now are over at the powder coater, so it's getting there. But with that, that's all I got for you guys on this one. If you liked the video, if you're excited for the RX-7 restoration, go ahead, hit that like button, turn it black, blue, green, yellow, purple, silver, cyan. But with that, that is all. Actually, no, whatever color it turns for you. And if you're not subscribed already, I'll put it in one of these corners. No idea which one quite yet. But with that, I'll catch you guys in the next one. So peace out, homies. Woo. There we go. Woo!